What's up, everybody? CP and SJ with you again for another week of picks here on Every Day We're Covering. Heading into week 4 of the college football season. Some decent matchups here this week as far as fun games to watch, but we're going to tell you about the ones that we really like as we're placing wagers here this week. And SJ, should be fun, a fun slate, and I think we've got some juicy ones this week.
Yeah, depending on your interest, I guess you could get going here tonight with one game on the slate, but also tomorrow's and decent, good matchups there, and then of course Saturday, a lot better than last week, and well, at least on paper. Let's see how we do before we start getting too excited about the slate.
Yeah, we're trying to bounce back a little bit here. Not our best week picks last week, but we're going to try to redeem ourselves here this week. And go. I guess I'll go ahead and get it kicked off here. And this is a game we both have picks on, just in different fashions. The kind of the mud bowl, I guess you'd call it in the SEC. It's not much fun. Florida taking on Mississippi State down in Starksville. And the Gators laying 6. I think Florida is the better team out of these two. I think they both stink, but Florida's got some more offensive firepower. I think they cover that 6, so that's where I'm going with this one. How about you?
They're kind of going on that both teams stink idea there. I'm going to take the unders on that. When I played it, I believe it was 58, I believe is what I got it at here. So, I mean, just like you said, I don't know how either team's going to score much more than about a 20 spot. So, if that's the case, we should be well under that mark. But I'll go ahead and play the unders on that game for sure.
All right. Next one I had on my list, and I'm going to go a little bit unconventional here. I haven't done much of this yet this season, but I'm just going to take the money line bet here for Coastal Carolina. They're taking on Virginia, and you're getting good plus money there. Plus 150 is what I saw when I looked at it here today. So I like Coastal to win this game. I think they're the better all around team, and I'd like to get a little extra coin on top of it.
We kind of discussed the train wreck theme here heading into this weekend on the podcast earlier this week. So along those lines, Cal at Florida State, they're actually getting 2 points, or they were when I played it. I see them covering that very easily. Honestly, I would have took the money line, but this gave me better odds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how Florida State can beat them. Or right now, it's hard to find a win for that type of team the way they've looked. Of course, Cal's already got the win over Auburn on the road, undefeated coming in. I know when you look at the names, it's like it shouldn't seem any way that you're picking a Cal over Florida State any year, but that's the case, and that's where Florida State's at this point.
Another one I know we agree on here, and we both had talked about this game on the pod previously as well, just looking ahead to it. USC laying 5.5 at Michigan. Obviously, teams have looked very different in their game so far. USC's looked pretty solid. Played, of course, that nice win early in the season over LSU. Of course, Michigan, the big thumping they took at the hands of Texas at their home field. So nothing new if they would lose at home again. But I just think this USC team is a little bit more well-rounded and going to be able to cover that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, the bounce back for Michigan was a 10-point win over Arkansas State at home. So it's not like this is hard to have a lot of confidence in that team. I'll tail on that one. We're definitely gonna take that 5.5. I might even do another last minute bump up the number as it gets closer. I'm getting even more and more confident. Just to switch over here, another pick I had on the big number trend. I got a couple more of these, but this one I feel really comfortable playing this, and honestly, I'm surprised at the line. I know you were kind of down on the ACC, but NC State is maybe one of the teams that has performed somewhat other than that Tennessee game, but Tennessee's been killing everybody. Mm-hmm. So I kind of throw that one out. But they're getting 20 and a half against Clemson, who, for me at least, the jury's still out on this Clemson team, and their only legitimate contest this year was a blowout. I understand it was Georgia, but still, their only win was over Appalachian State. So I feel confident that NC State can be within that total there. I don't necessarily expect them to win, but 21 points playing within there is not asking all that much.
Yeah, that's a pretty big line for a conference matchup, that's for sure. I'm going to go back to the SEC. Arkansas, a team that has put up a lot of points. I think there's some talent there. They've got a young quarterback that's still trying to figure it out. But they played tough, obviously, and almost really should have got that win against Oklahoma State earlier this season. Really made some mistakes late in that game. But they are at Auburn, and I'm looking at the money line on this one, too. You're getting plus 118. So I'm going to take that little extra cheese there for Arkansas because I think they just win this game outright.
And the last few I have, I'll just run through real quick. There's just the big number variety. We've been just kind of watching this and seeing how it plays out. One I actually a little bit more confident, just like with last week, as Penn State not being a offensive powerhouse any of the years that they've even had a good team. They don't usually put up a big number. 49-point favorite against Kent State. I got Georgia Southern plus 36 at Ole Miss. That one, that's a very low confidence. I know Georgia Southern's usually a pretty decent outfit, but Ole Miss is similar to along the lines of Tennessee, where they've really kind of gone for those style points this year, and really trying to run up that number when didn't necessarily have to, but it is what it is. And then this one, I'm a little more confident Louisiana Monroe, because they're at 31 points per game, pretty decent team coming in 2-0. But Texas has looked real good so far this season. It's a 44.5-point spread when I made the play. That one maybe a little bit kind of in between those first two I mentioned, but still, I just think Texas is a really good outfit at this point. And I'm not too super confident in it, but we're seeing what we're doing here with these big numbers. So I got to keep this trend and kind of keep track. And we'll circle back here in a few weeks and see if we're gonna throw this in the dumpster, or maybe continue with it.
Yeah. Another team I would throw out there is going to be interesting to see how they respond, because they've been off since their huge win. Northern Illinois, now playing as a ranked team, going to take on Buffalo. And they're 13.5-point favorites, which, is a decent margin within the MAC. But man, the way Northern Illinois looked, you got to think that they can get that done. If they can go to South Bend and win, why can't they win by a couple touchdowns against Buffalo? So I'm going to roll with Northern Illinois there to continue their positive season. And then another one I saw, this number I just thought was way too high. 56.5 for UCLA LSU. I realize LSU's played in all kinds of high-scoring affairs so far for the season, most part. But UCLA, they've scored 13 and 10 in their 2 games so far. So, I mean, you're not going to expect them to score much. I don't think the offense is there. And LSU typically, when they play a team like that, will ramp up the D a little bit. So, yeah, LSU may score some points, but it ain't going to be enough to push it over this 56.5. So I'm going to play the under on that game as well. One other one that I thought was intriguing, I'm not necessarily going to say this is a play, but Baylor getting a couple of points at Colorado, I feel like that's kind of baiting you in a little bit, because the Bears, I think, probably end up getting that done, but that's still on the road. It makes it a little bit more hairy for me. And then the other game, I wasn't sure where to go with it, just because the line is so interesting. That Tennessee-Oklahoma game, Tennessee at 7-point favorite. And I saw something today that it's been since like 2016 that Oklahoma has lost a home game by more than 7 points. So that's an interesting one. And the number on that one too was a little bit high, I thought, maybe, because those tend to get in those conference games, and maybe it brings those scores down a little bit. We've been seeing Tennessee put up those ungodly scores. That's not going to happen against Oklahoma. That'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on too, I think.
Yeah, one I guess I'll throw out. I did like the overs in that case. I think when I saw it, it was 56, though. I don't know if that's moved
Okay.
at all. And then Rutgers at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
They're on the money line. They were an underdog when I saw that. So if that's still the case, snatch that baby up, and I put some decent amount of money on that one, because I do think they're. I'm not necessarily sold on them being making a run here in the conference, but I do think they're the better team than Virginia Tech. I don't think maybe I'm holding that Vanderbilt game over against them too much, but I don't know if that's possible to hold a Vanderbilt loss against someone too much. It kind of speaks for itself, does it not?
Yeah, especially if they let us down last weekend and following that up. Yeah, I did. I agree. I had that one written in my list just as one to keep an eye on too. So, yeah, lots of fun football. There's going to be some great matchups. Obviously, I think a lot of people will be watching that Tennessee Oklahoma game, USC Michigan, Okie State Utah should be a lot of fun. Some good football to watch, and hopefully you have some fun making some plays, and hopefully we deliver some good ones for you here this week. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share here on the YouTube channel so you keep getting these picks week after week. And then, of course, to listen and share the pod anywhere you can find it. All the major podcast platforms, just search Every Day We're Covering. You'll track it down. Our host is at Spotify, so that's an easy place to get it there as well. So we hope you listen. We hope you enjoy. Have some fun. Tip a few back. Watch some football. Make some wagers here this weekend. That's SJ Munoz. I'm Chris Parks. Thanks for joining us for another week of picks here on Every Day We're Covering. We'll see you next time for some more covers.